Hello, and welcome to episode one of my solo adventure of Legend in the Mist. Uh, Last episode, session zero, we built our character Brandon, the hunter apprentice with his faithful companion Daisy. Today we get to see where they go in their adventure. I've decided there's a festival going in town, which is always a classic trope of these kinds of adventures, and his mentor has sent him out hunting. His first time alone, and he wants to prove his mentor happy. So he wants to find that deer, that ant, that rabbit, that whatever. So let's jump over into the game, and we will start off. Okay, transition. First, one thing I did a note with the help of some ChatGPT, I was able to name some of the areas, like the mountains are surrounding the cities, called the Hollow Spire Mountains. The woods surrounding the town is called the Whisper Fen Woods. These are dense, dark forests where Clog clings low to the mossy ground. Awesome. Okay. So Brandon is crouching in the Whisper Fen Woods. His faithful dog Daisy sitting beside him as he scans the area. Every now and then he steps forward, looking as he moves slowly, making sure not to step on a stick, to make sure not to step on leaves to make too much noise. Doing all the training his mentor has given him. The smell of moisture is in the air. That damp dew clings to his kind of cloak that he wears over his clothes. That internal fog of the Whisperfen Woods kind of creeping up around his feet as he stares into the darkness. The slight light from the sun kind of beams through the canopies, giving him just enough light to see by as he searches for that deer. Okay, set the scene is I just set the scene. I'm gonna set the consequences. We are hunting for deer, so he's gonna roll. We're gonna look see what kind of tags we can use to do this roll. It's gonna be a quick roll, just a yes or no. Does he see a deer? So, what tags do we have that will help us search for a deer? I'm gonna say Daisy has a superior sense of smell. That's gonna be one, and I kind of like to be prepared, to being prepared. He prepared himself, so he should be able to. Yeah, I think that one worked too. All we have to do is go hit quick and see what we get. We rolled a 9. That means it is success, but there is a consequence. All right. Which I don't have to pull up the oracle to figure out what the consequence is. I have a good idea what a good consequence is when looking for a deer. You see Brandon, he kind of steps quietly, moving deeper into the forest. As Daisy kind of alerts him to his side, maybe a little whimper, maybe a little whine, something quiet that doesn't really alert what's around him. As Brandon kind of moves over, he sees the deer sitting there grazing. But as he sees it, he steps on a twig, making a crack. The deer's head shoots up, the ears flip up, as the deer will have the spooked, we'll say a spooked 2 status. We'll say a spooked 2 status. So on the scene tag, I'm add a tag, call it spooked. Close that. This is a temporary tag, so I don't know about that. Did I do that right? I don't think it's a tag I need. I need the there you go. This is the status. So spooked 2. This is gonna make it a little harder to hit him. So now we're at another scene. The scene is set. He's still in the forest. The mist in the air. The deer has been spotted. We'll say it's about 50 feet away, down in a little valley, where there's some fresh grass growing that it was feeding on. But it heard something. It hasn't spotted Brandon and the dog, but it does hear them. Its head is up. Its ears are twitching around. Now Brandon gets to decide what he wants to do. Does he want to take the shot while this deer is spooked? Does he want to try to maybe move downwind? Try to let the deer calm down so he can get a extra thing. I think because he has a trait called impatience, he's not going to take the time to let the deer settle down. He's going to aim for it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add the tag hunting, aiming, and hunting bow. I'm also going to add the negative impatience because he is impatient. But he does also get be prepared. I think that's a good one because he is a punter. He's preparing himself. I'm not going to use any Daisy right now, but I do add in the nope. I believe it's left click. Yeah, there. Left click for negative. So I do the negative. So he'll have -3, +4, and a -3 means he'll have a +1 to this roll. This will be a detailed roll because the damage I want will be. I'll have to go over towards that. So, detailed attack. Boom. I rolled a 10. That is a success. I have 1 power. Spend 1 power at the cost below. Okay. This is things you can do. I can attack because this was attack. I shot arrow. This is more than likely what I'm going to do. I can give your target a harmful status, which is wounded, offended, cursed. 1 power per tier. I can disrupt. Give your target a hindering status. Weak spot, blinded, tangled. 1 power per tier or 2 power per tag. Influence. Give your target a compelling status. Weaken, remove the status, a useful tag or status. Well, I'm gonna attack either I'm gonna disrupt. Well, I don't have enough to make a tag on this one, so I can't make the tag. I can do the tiers, but I need at least +2 to start with. So it's going to be an attack. It's probably going to be a wounded. It's going to be wounded 1. Okay. So the deer is wounded 1. The arrow flies through, slammed. Not slamming quite exactly where he wants it. Okay. It's maybe hitting it in the hip or on the side, but the deer is still alive as it has a wounded 1 tag. Now the scene changes. Okay. The deer gets hit. Brandon kind of straightens up looking to see if he got it. And the deer is going to take on a... I'm removing the spook status. So we delete that. The deer is going to have what's called a fleeing status. And I'm going to give it fleeing 2. Not 2 there. 2 there. Thank you. So deer is fleeing 2. As it sees, it gets slammed, and it immediately takes off running. All right. He's going on for the distance. Daisy is barking beside him. Now Brandon has to pursue. He has to catch up, and the limit to take down the deer is 3 for wounded. He is wounded 1. So I need 2 more points, or 3 more points technically, to get to wounded 3. So Brandon takes off at a trot. He kind of whistles for his dog to take off too. He gives it. We'll say he has like a special whistles that the dog knows, and he whistles. And Daisy, you see, because she listens to command, she takes off, chasing the deer as he runs full tilt towards it. He's already pulling his arrow back, knocking another arrow, and now we have set the scene. The deer is running, dunking through woods, down through canopies, and he has a fleeing 2 status. That's going to be the negative status to this roll. Daisy is on the ray, so we are going to roll what we need to do this attack. Okay, we got Daisy this time. So Daisy listens to command, and she has a superior assist spell, so she will not lose the trail. I have my aiming. I'm not going to aim. He's not really aiming. He's just he's running, trying to shoot. So I'm going to use hunting bow, and I am a hunter, so I'll use hunting. Let's see. That should have gave me a positive earlier. Hold on. Yeah, see, it's all there. Awesome. Let's see. What else do I have that would work? Hunting bow, hunting. I think aiming might work, yeah. Can't quite keep it. I think impatience is going to play into this again because he is impatient. Helping others, going to expound, easily exploded, exploited. I think that is it. Plus, we get the negative to the fleeing. So, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive and a 3 negative. So, that is a +2 to the roll. This is going to be another detailed attack. Like I said, the deer is at wounded 1. To kill the deer, I need to get to wounded 3 because that is this limit I have set for this deer. So, detailed attack roll. 7. Hey, that's 8. Okay, 8. Went away. All right. So there's a consequence to what happens here. but it is a success, and I have 2 power to spend on this success. All right, so I can add the wounded 2 to it, or I could, add a tier, maybe give it something to lower that fleeing tag. Maybe a Henry. I could add a tag now, 2 power per tag. So I could add like a cripple tag. Maybe I shot him in the leg or something, and he crippled. But what is a good tag to add? I think I'm going for tag. I'm going to try to take him out. Okay. So the arrow flies through, slamming into his hip as the deer jumps a corner. We'll say Daisy is kind of rounding around the front, trying to slow it down. The woods is a blur as I start knocking the arrow. Okay, so I have 2 points to spend. So first, before I do the consequence, let's spend the points on wounded. We have wounded 1. Okay, we've got to add 2. Some people would think, oh, that automatically makes wounded 3. No. Since we have wounded 1, let's do a little chart here. We'll do a little drawing real quick to help describe how the wounded condition works. There's 5 tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's go to free draw. Let's change the color from white to red. Okay. When you're looking at it, currently the deer is, what is it? White. Hold on. Okay. White to red. Configure default. Thank you. Okay. Currently, the deer is wounded 1. Okay. This attack, the deer just got wounded 2, right? Some people would go, okay, 1, 2. No. You start back at here. 1, 2. So wounded 2 brings it up to wounded 2. Now say we're at wounded 2, but you get wounded 1. You start at wounded 1, boom. Up, there's something there. Let's move over again. Up, there's something there. Move over again, something there. You see how, for example, how it works? Okay, that's it. So it's technically the wounded 2 brings it up to wounded 2. Right. Anyways, so the arrow slams into his side. It kind of staggers, almost starts to fall, but it catches its feet and it continues to run. Now we need a consequence, something to. I think the consequence is it takes up a little faster, begins to move, kind of swerves around Daisy, and fleeing is going to increase to fleeing 3. If it hits fleeing 5, that means it does get away. Okay, so we are running. Daisy is trying to corral it. The deer is scared and spooked. It's jumping this way and that way. We'll say off in the distance, you see a ledge with a waterfall going down. You see birds flying in the air. The water is kind of flashing in your face. The mist is rising as we build our next pool. All right. All right. Impatience is really going in, so he is impatient. Hunting bow. He's not aiming. He's running and shooting. Daisy is listening to his commands, and her superior sense of smell is keeping him on track, and he is prepared. Okay, that is what I'm going to use. I really don't see him aiming. He's a hunter, so I could use hunting here, but aiming, I do not see it happening. So that is our hunting pool. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minus 4. So we have a +1 to this roll. Again, it's a detailed attack. So I click detailed. And this time I rolled a 7. Again, this is a success, but there is a consequence. All right. Now I might actually have to pull up the consequence oracle on this one. Okay, so I'm going to spin the point into attack. Again, I should have deleted it. Let's pull this up, and I'll show you how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This is red. Let's change it to white this time. All right, so currently, this deer is at wounded 1, 2, at wounded 2. I got 1 power, so I will be able to add a wounded 1 to the attack. So 1 up, there's something there. 1 up, there's something there. 1. So now the deer occurs as wounded 3. So that's enough to kill the deer. or take down the deer, I should say. So the water falls off the this. We'll say about 30 feet away. Daisy is yelping and barking. Birds are flying. The other wildlife is scattering as the deer runs. Brandon brings up his arrow, barely even bringing it to his face, as he straightens it and lets it fly. It flies through the air, shooting true, slamming into the deer. The deer stumbles and staggers, collapsing. But now we need a consequence. So let's pull up the oracle. Consequence oracle right there. All right, here I pull it on the screen. Here is the consequence oracle. Pretty much, that's the challenge oracle. The consequence oracle helps you choose non-challenge consequences for an action. All right, let's see. Let's roll D66 and see if anything gives me. It's not set in stone. If I don't like it, we can re-roll. You know, it needs to fit the scene. We're hunting a deer. He just got shot. He does die, but something happens that is a negative to the success. Okay, so let's roll D66, which all of D66 is 2D6. So just go down here. I can't see it because my face is in the way. Anyways, I'm gonna roll 2D6. Click roll. 2D6. I rolled a 1 and a 5. And a 51. So that's a 51 on the roll. So let's scroll down here. So this loss of advantage. The hero lost an advantage they previously had or worked to achieve. Reduce or remove or reduce a hero's beneficial status or scratch their beneficial tags. All right. If I can't think of nothing there's a D6 I can roll now, which gives you the idea like scratch hero tool or weapon, reduce hero's positive status, lose favorite position, block best path, reduce opponent's negative status, or scratch a positive scene tag. I'm actually thinking I'm rolling this. I'm actually thinking about going with number 1. Say either he lost his hunting knife as he almost scratched his hunting knife because maybe it fell out of his pocket as he's chasing the deer, or maybe his bow got damaged. Maybe his arrow, as he shot that last one, the string broke, leaving his bow currently unusable. So that's what we're going to do. Let's move that out of the way. So as the deer collapses, slides to a stop. Maybe 15 feet is the waterfall. You can hear the water rushing down there. You can feel the breeze coming off that cliff into the forest. His little smock that he wears kind of ruffles around him. Daisy is barking, not licking, but looking at the deer, waiting for more orders. As Brandon looks down at his bow and sees his fine string of hair that he used, his fine string that he had to strung his bow has snapped. And his bow is currently useless. So, scratch an item. Why can I? Oh, duh, I'm not selected right. So, let's click this. Let's go to his hunting bow. And right here is our scratch. We just scratch. Is that scratch? I think that's scratching it out. Let's see. Oh, let's scratch it out. Let's see. Let's go to the thing. Let's see. I believe that is scratched. Okay, cool. It shows red, so I'm going to assume I haven't scratched anything here, but I believe those are the scratch buttons. So I believe that is scratched. Let me roll a quick roll and see what happens. It adds it to it. Yeah, minus 3. Oh, because it's got fleeing going. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, awesome. Close. We could delete this status of fleeing now. Here's a scratch. There you go. See that line through it? It is scratched. So that hunting bow is unusable until it gets fixed. You see Brandon sigh as he whistles for Daisy to come to him. You kind of see him kind of, set the bow, walk up towards the dying deer, kind of set the bow down, kneeling. Kind of whispers he has respect for these animals. Almost like he kind of whispers a small prayer. Thank you, ancient gods, for this bountiful feast my village will truly enjoy. As he goes to work, removing the arrows, I'm gonna say if you're filming hunting, maybe with hunting, especially in olden days, a lot of times nowadays you'll just take the whole deer, take it to a processor, and they'll process it. But a lot of times they would dig a hole and they would go ahead and dispose of the offal, which is cutting the gut, pulling out the offal, and burying it before they leave, makes it a little lighter to carry and stuff like that. So he goes ahead and goes into dressing the deer, exposing the offal. I'm not going to roll for none of that because that is something he's been trained to do. There's no need to roll. After about 30 or 40 minutes, he's drenched in sweat. Daisy's getting impatient. A bird crows in the distance. It's time to start heading home. He hoists the deer up on his back. The deer leg on each side of his arms. He fixes his bow so it doesn't fall off of him first, of course. Hold on. He adjusts the bow on his body to where it doesn't fall off. Considering the string is broke, he can't just string it around his back. As he begins the long march home. Okay. We are going to add a negative modifier to this area. It's going to be called, we'll say overburdened. And I like 2, so we'll do 1. We'll do overburdened net 1. So add what is it? We'll add a negative tag called overburdened. All right. There we go. And let's find out what happens on the walk home. It's about an hour walk to at least to the hunting shack. And then he gets to make from the hunting shack back to town. So let's go back to the Oracle. I do believe there's a section for trying to find out what is going to happen next, if anything at all happens. So let's do that. Let's just use the yes and no Oracle. Let's see, question Oracle. Here we go. Let's put this on the screen for a minute. Whenever you run into a question in a story or to which you do not know the answer, you can roll 2 6-sided dice as you would for a hero action and interpret the results below. Interpretive answer, roll 66 d6 to compare the outcome to the interpretive question table. Interpret the answer to the question. If you just got yes and no answer, roll 2 6-sided dice and add power. Power in this case treats any tag and stashes that could sway the answer to yes as positive, and any tags that status sway the answer no as negative. Add the sums, and you got the results right there. Okay, so we are going to do that. He is walking home. Does something happen to him? Does he run to like another creature? Does he run to an obstacle? Whatever. That's what we want to know. Does anything happen between here and the hunting shack? Okay, let's see what kind of traits we can use towards. I'm always prepared, so I'm constantly scanning the area. That's a positive. But I am impatient, so that's going to be another negative maybe? Or overburdened is definitely a negative. Hold on, I did that wrong. There we go. Let's see. We'll give a positive to Daisy because she's always on the lookout with that superior sense of smell. And I believe that is good enough for this roll. So we're going to do a quick roll. This roll is a 10. So as I said, my question was, does anything happen? I don't think I worded that right. Yeah. I'm going to reword that to am I attacked? Because the way I worded it is if it was a yes answer, then it was something actually going to happen. So I think I worded that wrong. Does anything happen? Am I attacked, or is there an issue? Yeah, anyways. Pretty much the yes means nothing happens, and he makes it all the way. I had confused myself a little bit. But pretty much the yes means nothing happens, and he makes it through the long hour walk through the woods to the hunting shack, where his mentor is waiting on him. Let me see if I actually have a name for this mentor. Let's say notes. Hunter mentor. Here we go. Rowan Thorne, the hunter of the hollow. He's in his late 40s. He is a him. We are his cabin in the northern slope just beyond the tree line overlooking the misted valley. He's a quiet, deliberate, and grimly humorous man. His look pretty much is broad-shouldered, weather-worn, and wiry from years from the wild. His dark hair is shot with gray, tied back in a leather thong. His cloak is made of stitched hides, faded greens and browns, with faint symbols carved into the antlers clasp that holds it shut. His eyes, pale gray-green, always seem to be watching the tree line, even mid-conversation. So he's a veteran hunter, trapper, and guide, and he is Brandon's mentor. Mentor. So as Brandon arrives at the shack, Rowan, I'm gonna say he's just sitting. Say he has a chair, or maybe a rocking chair, sitting out at the outside of the shack. And he's sitting there, got his hunting knife out, got a piece of stick, and he's just kind of carving it, whittling it, as he sees Brandon approach with the deer on his back. Aye, aye, that's a mighty nice deer. I see. One, two, 5 points. Good job, Brandon. Yes, yes. As Brandon says, as he kind of thank you, master. As you see him kind of walk up and lower the deer, kind of slowly putting it off of his back, laying it on the ground, and the overburning status does go away from the scene. I'm proud of you, son. You have. How long has it been since you came and took up the apprentice role of hunter? Brandon smiles. Well, has to be about 3 years now? 4 years? Yes. Good time. And you have earned your stripes. You are a hunter. You might still be you still have a lot to learn, but you are a true hunter. Don't let nobody take that away from you. Now, I'll clean this up. You and Daisy, won't you go into the shack, get cleaned up, and head down to the town? The festival is underway. I'll break this down and let Marjorie get it cooked up for us, and we'll have a nice venison dinner during the festival. A lot of people will enjoy that. Now, hurry along. And with that, you see him. You can tell that Rowan is done with conversation. Now, he's a man of few words. With that, hurry on. He kind of leans back in his chair and continues to start. His eyes are already focusing on his work of carving this piece of wood in his hands. Again, Brandon probably notices every now and then. You see his eyes kind of flit to the tree line, scan it, and then go back. But as far as Brandon's concerned, he's already left. So Brandon, pats Daisy on the head. Let's go, girl. As he walks into the shack, him and Daisy clean up, wiping the blood and the sweat off of their bodies. You probably use it a wash basin, just splashing water, maybe a little rag or sponge or something, clean themselves up. As they emerge, you see Rowan's not there no more, and the deer is gone too. So more than likely, he has something around back where he uses to string the deer up, and he starts skinning and preparing the deer. Well, we better head to town. As Brandon and Daisy begin to march down towards a town, you see the cabin kind of overlooks the hill down towards the Mist Valley. The Mist Valley is what leads into the town itself, Sebastian's Hollow. It's only just a few, we'll say, 10 minutes of walking, and Brandon finally makes his way out of the woods into the mist, into the fog shrouded mists that surround the city. We'll say the smell of wet is also in there. That ozone, but the moisture, the smell of rain, kind of lingers in his senses. The smell of the greenery, the trees, the ferns from the forest behind him. Even maybe dirt and mud as his feet kind of clack on the ground. Looking up, he kind of sees there's some clouds in the sky, but hopefully no rain. Don't want the festival to be ruined. You see birds kind of flowing around, especially some maybe little pigeons or other types of birds that would have been in the field that are getting spooked as him and Daisy walk far closer into town. As he continues to move towards town, the camera's going to shift as it moves away from Brandon, going in the air. You see the picture of the Hollow, a small town, maybe 10, 15 villages, not a very populated area of Sebastian's Hollow. You do see streamers and banners. You see a fountain in the center of town, water bubbling out of it. Most people you see gathered around that town square. You see makeshift stalls. You see people playing games and different competitions. You see kids running in the streets with like little fireworks, sparklers. Maybe even playing that old style game where you got the stick and you got the wheel and they're pushing the stick down the street, the wheel down the street. There's laughter and happiness. The camera moves from the town up towards the peaks of the mountains as this large winged shape takes flight. The shadow kind of you see on the mountains kind of overlapping, enunciating its size as it moves down, flying towards the sleepy town of Sebastian's Hollow. As the scene goes black, you see a large beak and a large crooked beak. And next week, we will see what happens at the festival in Sebastian's Hollow. Thank you again. Thank you again. I am Joseph, and this has been a production of Crit and Grit Media. If you enjoyed this episode 1 of this Legends in the Mist solo adventure, I haven't given it a good title yet, but I'll think of something with Brandon and Daisy. They've shot down their first deer. We've had a few rolls, really learning the difference with the rolls are using the oracle a little bit. But now Brandon gets to make it to town with this unknown threat flying from the mountains towards the town. What will happen, and how will Brandon survive? Stay tuned next week. Same time around between Monday and Wednesday. I'll try to get an episode posted depending on how busy I am. Tomorrow I will be working on Pathfinder lore, 5-minute lore. If you did like that, like, subscribe, and yeah. Anyways, again, I am Joseph, and have a great day.